once again to Liam Cook here from Coventry United TV with episode number 4 of our new interview series, CUTV's Team Talk, where we delve into the careers of past, present and future Coventry United stars. For the last 3 weeks, we've been chatting away with current members of the Coventry United family, with Joe Cairns, Reece Francis and Dominic Elaine joining us over the past couple of weeks. But today, we're shaking things up a little bit. That is right, we have got our first former player talking to us today. A man whose career has taken him across the Midlands and the non-league pyramid as well. And I'd say some supporters will remember him for scoring regularly from close range. Or tap-ins. Yeah, that's right. It is, of course, Mitch Piggon, the former Coventry United striker, who enjoyed a short but successful stint at the Butts Park Arena with 11 goals in 19 starts in 2017. So, what made Mitch the player he is today? Did he enjoy his Coventry United stint? And what has the man they call Tappin been up to lately? Mitch, great to talk to you again, mate. Firstly, how have you been doing in lockdown?
Hi Liam, great to talk to you, mate. I hope everyone out there is keeping safe and well, and we're looking forward to getting back to football. I know I am. Lockdown, it's been a tough 12 months, to be honest. Numerous things have gone on in our lives and everybody else's lives, and certainly mine's been affected, but we have to take the positives from it all. And 8 months ago I had my son, which without the lockdown I probably wouldn't have spent as much time with him, so I will take the blessings from being at home a little bit more than I would have been in that side of things. Not been keeping as fit as I should have been. Kind of chilled out a little bit, and I'll be looking to get back out running and stuff soon. I have done a few little runs recently, but just getting back into the swing of things. And now I've just started going back to work, and I think football will be restarting on next Sunday for the local Sunday team, so I might play a couple of games there and just to keep myself ticking over.
That's great to hear, mate. Let's start off our chat with a look back at the very start of your footballing journey. What set you on the path to being the player that you are today?
I basically just enjoyed football and wanted to go probably from about the age of 5 or 6, and I just played locally in the Neaton, Bedworth and Coventry leagues for a few junior sides actually. Pretty much like the adult section now. Seem to go around a few clubs. But yeah, just playing purely for enjoyment, and yeah, there was no real taking it seriously. It was just turning up Sunday, Saturday and playing. I did start out as a goalkeeper at one point, and quite enjoyed doing that in 6-a-side tournaments, but mainly I've just played as a striker the whole time. So yeah, there's not really been any kind of aspirations as a kid to make it at any level. If it happened, it happened. But yeah, when I got to 16, that was purely out of the question, because you're still playing at a junior section and you've not kind of got into an academy or anything like that, so you kind of think that's the journey over. But yeah, kind of just looked into playing Sundays when I got to 17 and just went from there really.
Of course, we all have our inspirations in life, whether it be players, celebrities or even coaches and family members. So who do you say was your greatest inspiration in your junior career?
Probably being a Liverpool fan, it would have to be Steven Gerrard. He was kind of person you always looked up to and wanted to be like. But in terms of my position, when Michael Owen came through, he was probably the one where you think, well, I want to be like him, just scoring goals all the time. But other than football, it would probably be my mum, my dad. and my granddad, God bless him, used to come every single week, used to take me rain, snow, whatever the weather, they'd be there watching. So you kind of want to play better and want to do things for them.
Many will say that you made your name at Nuneaton Griff in what was then known as the Midland Combination. How did you settle into the senior level?
It's a bit of a funny story how I even got playing for the Nuneaton Griff, actually. I went to watch one of my mates who was playing for the Griff at the time, and then I went into the pub afterwards just to have a drink with him, and I ended up talking to the manager somehow, and he was like, "Oh, do you play football?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, try." And he was like, "Come and have a training session and see what you think and that, and I'll have a look at you." So I think I trained, played for the reserves, and then ended up getting into the first team. Here and there, playing a few games, doing okay. And it was only for about half a season, and then the season come to an end, and looking at my next options, and a lot of people around the Nuneaton area will know a guy called Jose, and I think he might have had something to do with Coventry United at one point actually, but he was North Warwickshire and Hinckley College Academy manager. So when I was doing my course down there, played for the college team, and he'd got the assistant manager job at Hever St John's. So I ended up going over to Hever for the next season, with some quite good lads, to be fair, Spencer Twins, Chris Tullin, a few others, and had a really good season. I think I probably scored 20 goals that season, something like that, and it was my first proper season at men's football at a level that we probably didn't even know existed a year before that. So yeah, I did okay, and then the next season I went back to the Griff because it was just, I think Jose left or one of those, and I ended up going back to the Griff. Obviously it was local for me, travelling. I wasn't sure if I was driving at the time. I think I might have just started, so it was just more local, and then that season I scored 46 in the league, I think it was. So yeah, I had a really good season, and then obviously once you score that amount of goals, it doesn't matter if it's Sunday morning or mid-com Saturday afternoon, people are going to be like asking. So I had a couple of phone calls and whatnot, but at the end of that season, Steve Farmer, who was the manager, got the Bedworth job. And that's kind of how I ended up moving on from there.
After Griff, you began your first of what's going to be a number of stints at your current club, Bedworth United, where you're a bit of a club legend there, really. What made the Greenbacks the club that you wanted to stick with?
Yeah, this is my third spell with Bedworth, for numerous reasons. But yeah, it's kind of a club close to my heart now in terms of I've probably played 5-6 seasons out of 12 here. So there's good people around the club. I think you'll find that with any non-league club, to be honest. You do get some real good volunteers that will do anything for you. And Bedworth has got a great core of those, which everyone seems to get on with each other. And like I said, they'll bring the biscuits in, tea, make you a tea, coffee, get all your drinks supplied, and it's kind of like, especially now with having the little one, it's 5 minutes from my house, so it's ideal as well, especially with training and home matches. I don't have to leave till a later time, whereas if I was travelling an hour to a home match, I'm having to miss time with the little one, and yeah, it's just ideal for me now. But I have had some real good times with Bedworth. Obviously the first season promoted via the playoffs. Second season, probably not so great in terms of we got relegated on goal difference. And then the last time I was back before this stint was I played a part in helping keep them in the division. When, to be honest, when I first went in, they were dead and buried. So Stu brought some great lads in there. We ended up staying up. So that was another great achievement. And then I went away for a few years, and then Stu asked me to come back. And it made sense really in terms of it was local. And when you have done a lot of travelling, especially Tuesday nights away, you're down London, or I remember one time for Bedworth, we was in Devon, and I think I had to get 2 days off work just to play one game. So you kind of look at different things as you get older in terms of it's not all about money, it's about what suits you.
While Bedworth is the club that you're probably most greatly associated with, you've spent your time with a number of MFL clubs, including Coventry, Spinks and Rugby. As I guess you can call yourself a journeyman, really. What is your thought process when joining a new club, and how tough can it be to settle into a new squad and meeting tons of new people?
You could say I've had a few clubs, Liam, yeah, you're right. There's a few reasons as well, personal, which some people won't know about, that stuff that happened in my personal life. I went through a little bit of a stage where I wasn't enjoying football and was kind of just making up the numbers as such. But obviously if you're playing well and you're scoring, sometimes you warrant going to a club in a higher division. And then other times it might be just to get first team football, which has happened. I've spent times where I've been on the bench and I've not been enjoying it, and you just go elsewhere to try and get your games in. But in terms of joining a new side, I would say for me, I will get involved regardless of if I know anybody in the changing rooms. I think you've got to kind of make your presence known in terms of just being a part of the group.
I think it's safe to say you're somewhat of a locker room joker. I mean, I heard one time at Bedworth that you hid Rich Blythe's socks just before a match. How important is it to have a jovial yet professional team in the locker room?
Yeah, I try to get involved, Liam, and I think being a bit of a joker, you try and bring the spirits up of the team, especially if you're not doing well, or to keep the spirits high if you're in a good place. Funny one about the Rich story you just mentioned. I think it wasn't this season just gone. It was the first curtailment of the football, and I don't think it was me that hid his sock. Actually, I think it was Reece Blackmore. He's took the socks out of his bag because he's kept them in there, and he's wore them. I think Reece put them on, and Blythe's got no socks. Well, it's like 2 minutes to kick off. Gaffer's back. Like, Rich is like, where's my socks? Where's my socks? Can't get my socks. And Rich is getting a bit angry, and he's not really like that. Rich should have a bit of a laugh and a joke, but he's like, where's my socks? And Gaffer's just come in like, where's his socks? Booted the water bottles all over the place, and obviously we couldn't afford to lose that one because he weren't happy 2 minutes before kick-off, but we did end up winning the game. But it was just funny. Gaffer's come in and wellied the water bottles across the changing rooms, and I think we were all a bit scared to play crap then, so we did end up winning the game. But I think it's important that you have a bit of a laugh and a joke, and you try and, like I said, keep the spirits high in terms of, especially if you're doing well, like for Bedworth or for most teams that I've been in, there's always been good lads there. I don't think I've ever gone to a club and thought, I don't like him or I don't like him.
Now, I've covered your games at Bedworth United and Coventry United over the last few years, and one of the greatest traits that I believe you possess is your competitive edge. You hate being benched, you hate losing, you fight for every ball. Where did this competitive attitude come from?
To be honest, Liam, in terms of the competitive edge, I think if you want to be successful in any sport, you don't really want to be losing any kind of match, especially obviously a football match. But yeah, you're right. I don't like being benched, but I think if you asked any player playing the game, nobody wants to sit and watch, especially when you commit to what we do at our level in terms of Tuesday, Thursday training, Saturdays, and sometimes can be quite long away games on a Tuesday night. You want to be playing every game. I know that's not possible, especially if you want to win things, but you kind of, and at my age now, coming up to 31, it's probably not possible for me to play every game, and I understand that. But just me as a person, you still want to be playing every game. It doesn't matter whether it's a Sunday morning kickabout. You don't want to be on the bench for that either. It's just the way that I've always been. I just don't like watching, to be honest. It just really annoys me when I have to watch a game and you just want to be out there because you can affect the game. Whereas if you're sat on the bench, it's a case of you're just hoping that people are going to perform and do what they can to win the football match. But yeah, I probably am a bit moody as well when I'm on the bench, which is not a good thing. I've got a little bit better as I've got older, but if you'd have seen me 10 years ago and I was on the bench, you wouldn't have even spoke to me after the game because I'd been a right strop.
In 2017, you made the switch from Chasetown to Coventry United as part of a pretty big shake-up in the red and green squad. What was your first impression of the club?
The manager actually left Chasetown at the end of that season, so the new manager was announced, come in, and he was from Newcastle Town, so didn't really know much about him. And Ruffy, who I was car sharing with, decided to move on, and for me it was the car share was a bit of an issue. I was going to be travelling by myself, so I had a few offers. Terry got in touch. I met up with him for a beer, and I ended up signing. Probably the biggest thing when you probably join Cov United is the stand and the facilities that you're playing at. Obviously, when I first signed, the pitch wasn't what it is now, but actually playing at the Butts Park in front of the big stand, people are going to come and raise their game, and it's a great little venue to play football at. So, and then when I joined, I couldn't say a bad word about anybody there in terms of volunteers and people on the board and the players that I played with. All brilliant people, to be honest.
You certainly endeared yourself to the Coventry United fans. You quickly earned the nickname Tappin, thanks to your ability to always be in the right place at the right time. Is this something that you've found to be a trait throughout your career, or only more recently has that been brought into your game?
Yeah, tapping. Yeah, I get that from you all the time as well. But I don't know. I've always scored goals. Doesn't matter what team I play for. There's never really been a time where, there's been times where you have a bit of a goal drought and whatnot, but I've always kind of chipped in with enough goals for me to think that's good enough for a season. And yeah, there's times I could have done better, but that's just football at times. But I've always been a bit of a poacher. When I was at school, I used to get on people's nerves because if we'd play like singles or doubles, I'd just goal lang for the whole thing. And it just from playing up as a striker, you just find that position where you need to be. And it's just the same as if I tried to play central midfield or in defence, my positional sense would be horrendous. As much as I could probably talk a great game, actually just knowing and sensing where the ball's going to drop. If somebody has a shot and you think, oh, the keeper's going to save it, you're always thinking about where that ball can land, because so you can get that little tap in or just anything on it just to get it in the net. And I suppose it's always been my kind of game, just to sense out any kind of little chances I can get of a goal, really.
You developed a strong strike partnership with Craig Reed. Before your departure, between you'd scored 23 goals in competitive action. What made you such a well-oiled machine?
To be fair, I enjoyed playing up front with Craig, and anybody that has played Football League, it should be easy to play with at that level, to be honest, because Craig had good movement, great touch, knew where the net was, and to be honest, he was actually really good around training, because he did a lot of one-to-one sessions in his spare time, I think, that he was doing on top of his work. So he was good actually for training and doing some good drills for finishing and as a striker and working on movement. But in terms of the game, I kind of play as holding the ball up or flicking it on, and Craig's one of them that wants it into feet or maybe getting behind. So kind of your little and large partnership, if you want to call it. But yeah, we just clicked for the first, up until October. I think I was top scorer in the league, and then I got injured. I was out till Christmas, and it kind of, we didn't get as much time together as we wanted to, really, which was a bit of a shame. But in terms of the first 10 to maybe 15 games, we was on fire, and everything we kind of touching was going in.
The partnership with Craig was certainly one that I enjoyed, but you're no stranger to leading the front line on your own either. So what are the pros and cons of having another striker alongside you?
Yeah, playing up front on your own or with a partner, I think it really does depend on your partner, who you're playing with. And I do enjoy playing up front by myself. Most of the time, it all depends on how you're setting up, really, because if balls are getting tossed up to me, and at the moment I'm kind of one of them strikers that will hold it up or flick it on, and I'm probably not going to run in behind too much because I've lost a yard of pace. But you need to make sure your midfield's up with you, especially if you're playing up front on your own, because otherwise you can become very isolated, which is frustrating. So in terms of then changing it with a two, it is good as well, because you've got someone around you. If you're flicking it on, you know they're going to be running off you, and if you've got that right partner as well, like I spoke about with Craig in the previous, that you've got someone that you just connect well with, and you're setting each other up or you're scoring and just things are going well, it can make things easier. But we kind of at Bedworth at the moment, we're playing with one up front, and we play two off that are supporting me. And to be fair, those two are little, small, quick lads that if I flick it on, I know they're going to be there. And like I said, it's more a case of how your team is drilled and set up for the one to work.
What would you say was your greatest moment in a Coventry United shirt?
There was a great FA Vars tie, I remember it really well. I think it was against Lutterworth, and we didn't play well at all, to be honest. But it was funny because they had probably 50 lads around the dugout, and I think they were letting off flares and everything. It was brilliant, and they were giving us quite a bit of abuse, to be honest. And I think we was 1-1, and it was going to extra time, or it went to extra time, and I think I've just got the ball outside the box and hit one, and it's gone in the bottom corner, and I've just slid in front of all these 50 lads, and they're all just telling me to F off. And that was probably one of the best games. I know I said it wasn't a good game, but in terms of like grinding out a result and getting through to the next round of the Vars, it was pretty. We kind of, I don't know, just found a bit of character in the side to get us through the tie, really.
Your stint with Coventry was sadly short-lived. What was the main factor in your decision to head for pastures new?
Yeah, it was short-lived, Liam, which is a bit of a shame, but this is football and things do happen. I mean, I was top scorer in the league by October. Midway through, I think I was on 15, something like that. And as a striker, you do get people texting you and ringing you if you're doing well, and they want to know, oh, would you be interested in coming here? And kind of, I was approaching the back end of the 20s, and teams in the Southern Prem come in, and I thought I should really give it a go, to be honest, and still prove that I can do it at a higher level. So I ended up joining Barwell, and I did okay. I think I scored 8 or 9 goals from January to May. We just missed out on the playoffs, but you never know. May come back in the future. You just never know what's going to happen in football. Things will come up, and I might find myself not playing in 6 months' time. Just can't get a game, and you just never know in football where you could end up.
With the benefit of hindsight, is there anything you do differently at Coventry United?
Probably not jump the gun and make decisions so quickly. I think that's probably been something that I've learnt over the years. It's trying to learn who you can and can't trust in football, and there are a lot of people out there who tell you what you want to hear, and there are a lot of good people out there in the game, but I've made a few hasty decisions in terms of leaving a club, and it's not always worked out when I've moved on. So actually really thinking about what I have and where I am and how things are going before I was to move on in future.
Looking back on your time with the Red and Greens, it's certainly a time that I remember fondly, but is it a time that you remember fondly?
I enjoyed my time at Coventry United, and I met some really good people there, volunteers, players, some that I play with now and some that still keep in contact with, and obviously the board that were there at the time. I've not got a bad word to say about anybody involved in Coventry United, because there was some real good people there. Obviously it would have been better if it was a little bit longer, but like I said, with football things change so quickly. But yeah, it was a period that I enjoyed my football, and that's the main thing.
Well, it's been nearly 4 years since you last put on the famous Red and Green. So what have you been up to during that time?
What have I been up to since I left? I think I obviously signed for Barwell, and then finished the season there, and then I went to Romulus. And that I was flying again. I was on 18, 20 goals, and then this is where I made another one of my moves that didn't quite go to plan, and then after that the season's finished, and I've had the last 2 seasons at Bedworth, and I've enjoyed my football a lot since I've been here. We've got some great lads down there, and we have a good crack and banter, and we've been winning, which does help. with the enjoyment side of things. But yeah, just working, and when it's not been COVID, just been with my son, which has brought a lot of joy to my life, and just making a bit more, or the most of time where you're not at football, because I think you get zoned into Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and there is a little bit more to life than football, and it's just been nice to spend a lot more time with the little one, although I am excited to get back to football, as 12 months in lockdown has been a little bit too long.
And finally, I'm sure the Red and Green Army want to hear, and well, all of your supporters really want to hear, what does the future hold for Mitch Piggon?
I'll be 31 in August, so still a few years left in me yet. I mean, I've not made any decisions on what I'm doing this season. It will probably be spent back at Bedworth. I did have the pre-season text the other day, which scared me a little bit, because obviously I'm not quite at the fitness I need to be, and probably most people aren't either. But when you've spent so long off, actually going back to pre-season after 3-4 weeks off is bad enough, but after 6 months off, it's even worse. So just be looking to get myself fit properly in the next few weeks, and get ready for going back to football, hopefully. And it'd be great just for a bit more the social aspect as well. But in terms of actually what I want to do, it'd be great to maybe get another promotion on the CV. I've always wanted to get to the FA Cup first round, which has not quite happened so far. I don't think I've really had too much of a great run in it, to be honest. So that would be something in the next 4 or 5 years that would be great to do, but just enjoying it, and that's the main thing for me.
A massive thanks to the one and only Mitch Piggon, candid in his answers as always. It's always a pleasure to talk to Mitch, and indeed to see him play as well, as I did at both Coventry United and during my time at Bedworth. Really is a fantastic guy, and once again a massive thank you to Mitch for taking the time out of his day to talk to us here on CUTV, and hopefully it won't be long before we can see Mitch and the other stars of non-league back in action in person, because well, apparently the COVID restrictions will be lifted, ready in time for the new season set to start in August. I'm just hoping that the old hairdressers can come back soon, because this is getting a little bit too wavy for my liking. Until the season is back, we've got hours upon hours of content here on Coventry United TV. Interviews, highlights, live streams, interviews, the whole shebang. So make sure to check out the latest goings on CUTV, and of course subscribe for more exclusive content from the Red and Greens. And well, we'll be back very shortly here on Coventry United TV. Next Thursday we'll be talking to another former member of the Coventry United team, hopefully. Won't tell you who it is just yet, but if we can get the guest on that we'd like to, then it should be another cracking interview. And of course we want to hear what you want to hear as well. Who do you want to hear from next? It can be a current or former Coventry United star. Let us know who you'd like to hear from in the comment section below. We can also leave feedback or messages, etc. And if we can get the player on board that you'd like to hear from, then we will do so. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed today's coverage, and share with your friends. Get CUTV's name out there as quick as you can, because we've already hit 1,000 subscribers. We want to get to 2,000 very soon as well. Like I said, we're back next Thursday. Until then, I've been Leon Cook. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you next time on Coventry United TV.